Good evening, this is Donnie Fuchs of Abraham Shield. The following presentation is a slideshow of interactions I've had with Gedalia Blum over the years. Basically, I wanted to show that unlike his assertion that we've never reached out to him, we have many times. He doesn't answer questions. We have tried to reach out to him and discuss things. It's just simply not true, as you will see. We've reached out to him. We spoke with him about these issues. It started off a few years back when we had a Judean Hammer Facebook page. At that point, he sent us a message, a comment. Kenneth Blum, many of the people who you trash and drag through mud via Lashon Hara are good friends of mine who I know very well. I find your page blog to be somewhat important, but because you seem to only want to set the whole house on fire, you lose all credibility. I responded, the Judean Hammer, I suspected as much. I appreciate your honesty. Could you clarify which people you believe are being trashed? So he responds, Kenneth Blum, doesn't matter. All I can say is not to be so Gedalia, Kenneth Blum on the top. Doesn't matter. All I can say is not to be so black and white. First of all, it does matter. You can't accuse people of slandering someone and then say, I'm not going to give you any information. I'm not even going to tell you anything. Doesn't matter. All I can say is not to be so black and white. When you come off as someone who seems to prefer Christians as killing us instead of being a friend, then you lose credibility. Try to stick to the point you're trying to make and not bring that anyone within 3 degrees of separation. Judean Hammer, because I would maintain that everything we say is backed up with evidence. The slander and lies are hurled at us. The slander and lies are hurled at us, and an honest investigation shows that all insults were initiated by our detractors first. If you could specify who you feel was trashed, we will gladly provide evidence to support these claims of ours, Kenneth Blum, I met with Mike Huckabee. Does that mean I am a terrible Jew? The Judean Hammer. God forbid. But I would maintain that Mike Huckabee is a far more aggressive evangelical than most. Jews understand. And this video, the one we posted, highlights this connection with a terrible organization, one for Israel Ministry, connection with a terrible organization which preys on the most vulnerable Jews for conversion. The Judean Hammer, misguided is the proper term if you merely met him once. If your involvement is more extensive, then I would reassess my Torah priorities. So Gedalia on the top, it continues, don't be so absolute, it doesn't do you any favors. So I respond, the Judean Hammer, Kenneth Blum, please inform us of specific individuals who you believe we've trashed or engaged in Lashon Hara. The Judean Hammer, I mentioned I don't prefer that Christians kill us rather than proselytize us. Where they desire to kill us physically, spiritually, they deserve the hammer. And if it certainly doesn't matter since you leveled a harsh allegation, please elaborate so the administrators can defend ourselves. Gedalia continues, what's your name? Judean Hammer. The Judean Hammer Facebook page is a joint venture based upon the Judean Hammer blog that I started a while back. Specifically, if you must know, this is Donnie Fuchs responding to your inquiries at this moment. Moshe Schwartz and Nathaniel Feingold at the time are co-founders or whatever it said. I don't want to toot our own horn, but I want to give an example of how important the truth is. While I was initially working on this slide, I was reading the top of this, Kenneth Blum. How about instead of digging up the past, I will let you own if it comes up next time. I initially read this as something, where he was saying, like, you will own your mistake. But then I read it carefully, and I saw that doesn't seem to be what he meant. And so I'm changing it, because I don't want it to be distorted. Again, we are very careful with what we go through and what we say. And even if a person makes a typo, if I know what that typo is, I'm going to state exactly what I think the accurate thing was, even if it makes the person, quote unquote, look more reasonable. So let me read it as I now think he meant to write it. How about instead of digging up the past, I will let you know if it comes up next time. So the Judean Hammer, I responded, that is a cop-out. Either show us examples, retract your statement, or ignore the challenge and allow an allegation to confirm what we always maintain. Some people hurl lies without evidence. Kenneth Blum, sorry you feel that way. I would rather spend the next 20 minutes doing something else. He should have told us. That's not acceptable. That is not acceptable. You can't say something and then you're not going to tell me what the problem is. So here is an exchange from this past summer. So I tell Gedalia, ironic that you can't appreciate the only bullies and ignorant people are those involved with these evangelical organizations. On what planet would this have been considered normal 10 years ago? Why have virtually all prominent rabbanim imposed interfaith associations with other faith communities? This is not a game. Evangelicals present a theological advantage to the Jews. Why do you ignore the advice of counter-missionary experts, including righteous converts and Bali Tshuva, who understand intimately the true goals of evangelical? Then again, Gedaliah says, Donnie Fuchs, how many times have you slandered me in public, throwing out accusations when at not one point have you ever contacted me? But slander is okay in your book? Your tactics are completely forbidden. You don't always get it right. You need to do some soul searching. And by the way, you were served the cease and desist from a lawyer. No, I was not. I don't know what he's talking about. I think I get blamed for anything that's posted anonymously. I will tell you, they're still watching you. You should look at what the Israeli courts award people who are slandered publicly. That's pretty good. I'll make a lot of money then. So I answer him, Gedaliah Blum, let me state this very clear for all on this thread to see. You are a bully and you're dishonest. Neither I nor anyone associated with me has ever slandered or libeled you publicly or privately. Ever. Provide the screenshots for everyone to see on this thread. However, I and my associates have documented evidence that the precise thing has been done to us by you and others. I have never thrown out accusations, as you call it. I and others have provided public information of public affairs that was done by people who have taken public roles. And those of us who document the dangerous associations of evangelical missionaries in Israel are considered an annoyance by only one group of people in Israel. Those Jews who have aligned themselves with people who, with their own public documented words and deeds, have a desire to bring the Gospels to Jews. As far as legal action, rest assured that the evidence of libel and slander against us is overwhelming. You see, we keep all these screenshots for all the Jews out there. We always show me a screenshot. What did I say? What did I do? You know what? If I made a mistake, I'll apologize. But you don't have any of these things. As far as legal action, rest assured, whatever. We have lawyers as well that will look at the evidence that we have. Here are more comments where I try to explain to him, how is this not a missionary? A guy talked like with Hayovel, the guy who says, we're going to share this Jesus that we know to Jews. Or, I basically go through different examples. And here, as I've done time and time again, as I hope to show in these screenshots, Gedaliah Blum, rather than blocking and hurling insults, I challenge you to a civil exchange here on this thread to express why you believe that I and others are wrong for calling out Jewish associations with evangelical personages who have long documented histories committing to bringing gospels to Jews. What assertions are wrong? If I cite a person's own words, where they speak about bringing the gospels to Orthodox Jews who are like virgins to the gospels, or another fellow who openly admits his desire to share Jesus, how is that dishonest? And here I respond to his threats where I say, we have documentation. Don't threaten lawsuits. As you can see, we keep everything. We have all the evidence. And you see, it's civil. Again, I can go back 7 years ago. I was living in Mitzvah Ramon. It's the same exchange, the same dialogue, the same dignity I treated him with. I don't libel him. But if you're going to go around saying because we're calling you out, you're going to start saying that we're making up lies about you, then I will mention your name. But I'm not going to call you names. The only thing I will say is if you've lied. And you have. Gedaliah Blum, first of all, you need to be honest. Several people, including myself, have addressed this with you over the years. This notion that we never reached out to him. We have screenshots of such conversations. You blocked people when they brought their concerns to you. You've blocked me time and time again. And he has many accounts because he's probably lost his accounts. Gedaliah Kenneth Blum. And then I find an account that's not blocked and then he blocks me. And so here I say, Gedaliah Blum, first of all, you need to be honest. Several people, including myself, have addressed this with you over the years. We have screenshots of such conversations, as you see. Additionally, you have blocked people when they brought their concerns to you. What do you mean by documented? I am unequivocally saying that you have never been slandered or libeled. Stop dancing around the bush. What precisely bothers you? Feel free to share anything, including screenshots in this exchange. If we did something wrong, show us. You know what? If we really did, you better believe you'll get an apology from us. Show us. And this is basically what motivates me. I've never allowed it to get personal with anyone. My colleague and dear friend Moshe Schwartz and I never initiate any of this stuff, and it's never personal. Our concern is that the most well-intended Jews involved in this are playing a dangerous game that harms Am Yisrael. This is not a personal attack. It is a call for Jews to sever such relationships. In this screenshot, I tell him again, I try to get into the doctrinal aspects, like speak to Gerim, speak to the experts, speak to Balei Tshuva who were involved. Like, we understand. We're experts in this field. We're certainly close to people who have incredible expertise. We know what we're talking about. Here, Gedaliah mentions, what bothers me is that I help Anthony Abram, who believes that Jews are untouchable. This is just not true. We just proved the other day. He doesn't believe they're untouchable. He baptized a Jew in 2013, Zev, in the Jordan River. And it's ironic that he also mentioned this. How about this? Name one Jew, Gedaliah says, who has come forward as being a target of missionary work from Anthony. You live in reality, so show me. You make accusations, so the burden of proof is on you to prove he missionizes. If you cannot prove it, then enough with your rhetoric and bullying. Yes, I was contacted a couple of times from people you and your gang targeted. I've never told anyone. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyone who calls him is not Donnie Fuchs. If people reach out to you, whether it's true or not, that's not my problem, and I don't even know what you're talking about. How about as far as the burden of proof? Again, name one Jew, Zev, from up north, baptized by Anthony Abma in the Jordan River. Proudly, it was a privilege for Anthony Abma. 2013. And so what I responded there also, because in this notion, show me one Jew who was baptized, that's silliness. Gedalia Blum, that's not the standard of a missionary. Clearly the smartest among them don't street proselytize. Stop playing games. Few of them do. You clearly betray that you lack knowledge of what a missionary is. You've not answered me. What is the evangelical doctrine of restoration used by relational evangelists? I'm waiting patiently. Your failure to respond speaks volumes. And as I've noted in the past, a messianic like Caleb Myers, you're not going to find a video of him baptizing a Jew. These are hard to find. You rarely do, if ever. But what we did find was from Anthony Abma, an article where he proudly bragged that he was privileged to baptize a Jew in the Jordan River in 2013. Zev, that's the Jew's name who was baptized by Anthony Abma. Now here again, I go through, is Tommy Waller kosher, Mike Huckabee, Jim Garlow, Skyline Church. What about your business, the Business Arise conference you attended several months more recently? He actually co-sponsored it. Again, everything. And where's the slander? Where's the slurs? And I tried to even, private message at times, and I was blocked. And here's where I point out what is always the fact. It appears you're the only one in this exchange that has made baseless accusations. Have you even read Abma's articles pre-Return, O Israel? You see what like the article where he admitted he baptized, which I only recently found, but there were plenty other articles where he said terrible things. Like he waits for the days when Jews are like virgins coming to the Gospels, Orthodox Jews. No, to be clear, I've stated precisely what I believe in all these exchanges, and you have answered nothing. I think for the objective reader on this thread, I come off as reasonable, detailed, and knowledgeable. You, on the other hand, come off as bitter, angry, and intellectually dishonest. And here I try to say, please refrain from libeling and slandering us for the sake of the Jewish people. Please sever connections with anyone who might pose theological harm to Am Yisrael. Good day to you. Always good day. I'm polite. I can't help it. I get it from my dad. He's not so polite with me, but he blocked me. That's why it didn't go through. Retry sending. I couldn't even respond. Recently, he reached out on my personal Donnie Fuchs Facebook page, left a message, and then blocked me so I couldn't respond. So I didn't know how to get back to him. Then I figured, I'll go on the Firstfruits messenger. Shavua Tov, Gedalia. I was hoping to respond sooner to your last message, but since you saw fit to block me, I've decided to respond via your Facebook page. Frankly, I don't know what you mean when you say you decide to reach out to me. I couldn't respond. So that's a terrible way to have a conversation. Please stop with the vague statements. Precisely what accusations have I or anyone affiliated with me made? What are you even talking about? Accusing me of accusations is an accusation itself. Let's simplify this. Tell me exactly what are you talking about. We can proceed. Hiding in the shadows? Hardly. You got to be kidding me. I'm not anonymous. I tell them I don't write on the pen names and all. There are many things that are put out across social media. I can't be responsible for everything you see and read and want to attribute to me. Ask me about things that I'm able to answer, not about every rumor you hear about. We have had exchanges over the years where you refused to have a civil exchange with me or my colleagues or addressed evidence of certain personages. Rather than engage, you made false accusations and threatened us with lawsuits. The crime for simply pointing out that associating with people who have harmful theological intentions for Jews is a problem. This includes evangelicals with a documented history of evangelizing. You closed the door to discourse by blocking us even when we ask reasonable questions. I read about things that I believe I understand. My writings on missionaries are deemed accurate and praised. My writings on missionaries are deemed accurate and praised by converts to Judaism who come from evangelical circles, as well as counter-missionary experts. These are not pleasant subjects, but they are important ones. If you have problems with my positions, feel free to engage in a reasonable discussion. I'll be glad to answer anything as best I can, but don't accuse me falsely or speak about hiding in the shadows. If you have questions or comments, state precisely what is on your mind. I will answer everything as best I can. I never got a response. And true to form, I end politely. Have a good night. Never got a response. Those who can't debate, defame. We've tried time and time again, not just with Gedalia Blum, with all these people. We send questions. Please answer this. Please do this. You can't, there's only so much you can get kicked in the teeth. A lot of Jews, good Jews, take us to task for what they think is a bad tone or an aggressive tone. And I would argue that even at our worst, our tone is nowhere near what they do. I guess people may or may not know the kind of slander that some of these people have put out. It's outrageous. It's cyber harassment. It's going down friends lists and messaging people, lying about people. We don't do that. You can only be kicked in the teeth so much. And it's certainly not a Jewish ethic to allow yourself to be kicked in the teeth. Not when you're being aggressively maligned. Not when you're being called a libeler and a slanderer. All these things, it's projection, what they're doing to us, you see again and again. They don't have these screenshots. If you ask them, they can't show you. They can't show you these screenshots. If they do, show. Listen, if I've made a mistake, I'll be glad to admit it. And if an apology is warranted, if you feel that, I don't mean saying you call me a liar and I say you're the liar. How else are you supposed to respond? I mean, if we've gone over the line, show proof of it. I'll make a public apology. That's not anything that fuels us. This is not personal in any way. I mean, it's personal in the sense that they've caused great harm to us, but it's not about them. And when did we ever say that those Jews who aligned with Abma are themselves missionaries? It never happened. Gedalia Blum just posted that people are calling him missionaries. We've never called him a missionary. That's an outrageous lie, because that would be a terrible thing to say. Because that's obviously inaccurate. We've never said that. But that's how he wants to play the victim. He doesn't want to have to answer questions. He'll say they called me a missionary. Unbelievable. It's about the idea. And the idea is a simple one. That associations with any evangelical are dangerous. They will lie to you, and they can do that. So when they say, they told me, you can't trust evangelicals. Anthony M. wrote a comment a day or two before we discovered that admission of his baptizing. And he said, I've never converted anyone. I never would. I'm against that. He's a liar. Again, a little honesty, please. A call for honesty. Debate the issue on its merits. Stop calling us extremists. Let me hear your Torah position. Find a balanced position. You don't like an absolute? Find something balanced, because what Jews are engaged in today is nowhere near normative. Engage in a discussion and answer some simple questions.